Let's build a FanDuel lineup, Greg.
Let's do it. Let's hit up FanDuel. And I think we could do what you said before. We go Josh Allen with Dalton Kincaid. We could see what kind of lineups we could build with that.
Love it. Let's try it.
Yeah, Dalton Kincaid 4K over on FanDuel. So a very cheap price point there on Dalton Kincaid. And yeah, he's going to be popular. But keep in mind, too, like Cade Otton's similarly priced. So Cade Otton's also going to be pretty popular.
Right. How much is Amari? The thing is, we're just not projecting Amari Cooper well at all. So this might just be a Josh Allen Kincaid lineup.
It's hard to, and this is also one of those things that could change, is you don't really know what Amari Cooper's workload is going to be in week 2. It wasn't non-existent in week 1, but like, did you see the play that Amari Cooper scored the touchdown? He had to ask, I think it was Coleman who was next to him. And he asked him what the play was. And you see Coleman trying to explain to him with his hands what route he's supposed to run.
Yeah.
And then he scores a touchdown on the play. But there's things like that where it's very much up in the air whether Cooper is going to have a full workload or not. And that's going to certainly influence our projection on him. It's just kind of up in the air at this point in the week.
All right. One thing though, and this is what's kind of crazy. So Ben and I went back and forth on this a little bit yesterday. Amari Cooper ran 12 routes last game, Craig, and was targeted on 5 of them. That's crazy. So the obvious assumption there is like they just got him out there. They're like, here, learn these, forget about everything else. Just learn this, and then we'll get you out there. What if Amari Cooper is just familiarizing himself more with this playbook over the week and he ends up playing a lot more and running a lot more routes this week?
Certainly could happen.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be there's a scenario, and not even a crazy one, where from this point of the season to the end, Amari Cooper is like a top 5 wide receiver for fantasy points.
It's not out of the realm of possibility with how well Josh Allen has played. Josh Allen's played incredibly well.
And we've seen him do it before with Stephon Diggs. When Stephon Diggs a couple of years ago was in his prime, Diggs was a top fantasy wide receiver. Amari Cooper, I don't think it's the most likely scenario, but it's certainly a scenario where Amari Cooper is just putting up the number Stephon Diggs did a couple of years ago.
Right, exactly. Anyway, let me see what we're at here. Allen and Kincaid. Where's the best value on FanDuel, Greg?
All right. So over on FanDuel, the best value is probably a tight end, but beyond tight end, then it's back to some of the same guys that we have over on DraftKings. Trey Palmer's min price. He's 4K. So you got Trey Palmer is 4K. Yeah, I'd say Palmer at $4,000. Jalen Waddle's $5,900. So that's another spot. That
Dobbins
really
is way
good.
too cheap.
Tyreek Hill is $7,600. But it's a lot of the same guys. It's just like slightly different price points. But Tyreek Hill $7,600, Jalen Waddle $5,900, Trey Palmer $4K, Tank Dell is $6,900. That's a relatively cheap price point. Yeah, but then to your point over on FanDuel as well, I mean, you got Breece Hall is $7,900, J.K. Dobbins is $7,400. There's a lot of players who are not as expensive as they should be.
Okay. I'm just going to throw a cheap defense in here, see if there's anyone that stands out. Patriots look fine. I'll go Falcons.
Dolphins are 3,400 against the Cardinals.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, compare that to they're the same. They're like the same price as the Patriots. Patriots are 3,300.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Look at some Broncos and Ravens are above 5K. Let's go $3,400. Yeah, I'm with you. $3,400 Dolphins at home. Then that gives us $7,950.
Yeah.
God, it's just this is so much different than DraftKings, because if we wanted to, we could just go and plug in. So I plugged Dobbins in as well, because 7,400 in that spot is cheap. We haven't projected really well. You could play Breece Hall at 7,900, Greg. That's a good price point. You could go, I mean, Achane is 6,800. Swift is 65. Some of these guys are just really affordable.
Javonte Williams, I don't think you said him. He's 6K against the Panthers.
6K. Let's try Javonte Williams in this spot. I don't mind
Okay.
it. 8,600. Trey, I put Trey Palmer in because he was
Yeah.
4K.
Now we could spend up three. So three studs. Three studs could go into this lineup. Like Tyreek Hill, kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, like Tyreek Hill might even be too cheap based on what we've
Total
done
no
here so
brainer.
far.
We might have to pay for the Broncos defense. Let's
uh,
put Hill in though. It gives us 9,100 per player.
Hill, and then for a pay-up wide receiver, we could go to Chase, Lamb, or Brown. I'm most inclined to go Jamar Chase here.
Go for it.
And then what do we have left there, Jordan? 85? Oh, not 9,000. I mean, we could also go to.
I think Mason looks. Oh wait, it's got to be Mixon here. Mixon looks pretty good.
Yeah,
He is
Mixon's
expensive.
9K. Yeah, I was just thinking if there's a wide receiver we wanted to put in for correlation, but like we could go to AJ Brown to pair with Jamar Chase. But yeah, Mixon is projecting for more fantasy points.
I'd be fine with AJ Brown as well. I have no issues with that. Mixon only getting 7% though, as far as ownership goes.
It's hard for him to be even that much more. He might be a little bit just because we always see the field gravitating towards whoever scored the most fantasy points recently. But with that said, there's so many good running backs on FanDuel that I don't think Mixon has to be all that popular. Like if Mixon is way more popular, where does it come from? Like is Breece Hall less popular against the Patriots, $7,900, or J.K. Dobbins at 7,400 against the Saints? People are going to want to click on Derrick Henry as well because Derrick Henry always seems to be getting some attention.
Yeah, you're right. I just wanted to try one thing. I put Breece Hall in over Javonte Williams, and then went to flex. That gives us 7,100. So I pulled out who was in there? Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's anybody else here. Like
All right. So
ideally, Amari is 7,100, but we're not doing that. We'd have to throw your boy Tony Pollard in here, and I bet this actually looks really good. Like
yeah, we
Jordan,
could
if you go
go.
Breece Hall over Javonte and Tony Pollard over Mixon, I bet it looks good. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know that at $7,100 there's another player who projects well enough for us to consider there, unless we're just leaving a bunch of salary on the table.
Yeah,
Yeah, 82.7% sim ROI.
pretty good.